You are looking at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. Beautiful on the outside, even more beautiful on the inside. That is what I would say about my co-host for UFC Best Bets. We're talking about Islam Makhachev, Renato Moicano. It is a new year, new us, new main event for UFC 311, and that happened on Friday when word came down that Arman Tsarukyan, suffering from a back injury, he pulls out at the last second. Renato Money Moicano getting a big opportunity at UFC 225, and we are here to talk about it from a gambling perspective with my friends Ian Parker and Chael Sonnen. How we doing, boys? And
awesome.
I'm not wrong about that, huh? Very, very beautiful on the inside of this arena, yeah?
This is it's tied with Sphere for the most beautiful arenas I've ever been in. That's a big compliment. I'm in a different arena like you guys every week. This is something special.
It's amazing. If you just look above my head, I'm short enough where you can see that LED circle right there. This thing is pretty wild. I can't wait for tomorrow night.
They say that's an acre, Brett, that's an acre if you put it side by side of screen.
I don't believe that for half of a second, but it sounds good.
That's what they say.
It sounds really good. They should say that.
He's right.
We're going to be talking about the fights. The fights are going to be fun on Saturday. We're going to have some fun right here on UFC Best Bets. But before we get to UFC 311, we got to look back on how Ian started off the year. Talk to us about your bets at UFC Fight Night.
We were one Amanda Hebas short of being profitable. My Parker's premium play crushed it. Kopylov to win it over 1.5 rounds. Fantastic. Parker's prop hit with ease. The parlay and the long shot failed. If Amanda Hebas would have won, we would have been up by around 2 to 3. Her tapping made me tap. On to this week. Let's go.
All right, so we're looking at our first pay-per-view of 2025. Let's take a look at the main card of that pay-per-view that you can find, of course, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on ESPN+. There you go with the new main event. Islam Makhachev, a sizable favorite there against Renato Moicano, who comes in as the number 10th ranked lightweight in the world. Dvalishvili, Umar Nurmagomedov, a fight that I would say we've been waiting for a long time, but not really. It seems like Marab just won the fight over at the Sphere. He's going to have a quick turnaround to face Umar. Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill, that could be a very, very sleeper fight. Could steal the show on Saturday. 5-fight main card, as always. Odds presented to you by ESPN Bet. And Chael, I will start with you. Just your opening thoughts on, we haven't had a whole lot of time to think about this main event, but talk to me about the styles here and what you'll be looking for.
Well, I mean, listen, guys, when they have a clear mind, not a clear body, forget about all this overtraining business. When a guy is not thought about something and panicked, I've seen them fight above their abilities. I watched Ally Aquinta win moments and even win rounds against the great Khabib because he got the fight on very short notice. I like the spot that Moicano's in to make believe that Moicano can beat the guy who has been argued publicly by the likes of Dana White and John Morgan and Kevin Iole is better than John Jones. I'm talking about the argument between is Islam better than John Jones, and all of a sudden we're wondering, was Moicano better than Islam? I get that it's a stretch, but things are not even here. When you get a fight on short notice, when you know this is what dreams are made of. When you're a little boy and you want to be a fighter, you dream about these moments, and there's something about those kinds of childhood memories where you don't screw it up. I do believe Moicano, at a minimum, is going to fight very well.
If you're watching this show, I got to believe that you probably are aware that Renato Moicano was scheduled to fight on Saturday. He just was not scheduled to fight a 5-round main event against Islam Makhachev. He was scheduled to fight Beneil Dariush. Of course, we're all scrambling here. Ian, what did you think the line was going to look like? Is it about what you predicted, and do you see any value in this line?
I said to our producers, Islam is now going to be minus 1,000. He's a minus 1150. It went from minus 600. One of my buddies said, refresh it. It's now minus 900. I didn't want to click the button. I did, and here we are. But look, this screams Islam's going to win, right? This screams inside the distance. I mean, the question is, does he do it by knockout or submission? I think a lot of people may go to the knockout because we know Moicano is very good on the ground. He's good off his back, but he has not necessarily looked good when it comes to takedown defense. That's a disaster when you fight someone like Islam Makhachev. Look, but Chael's right. Opportunity knocks. You don't say no. You were training for this fight. Moicano believes in himself. He calls himself Money Moicano. Win or lose, he's getting paid.
All right, so you, Ian, you're going with Makhachev, but you're going on the over 1.5 round.
Look at that line. We're going from minus 1150 to only minus 105. So we need Moicano to survive 7.5 minutes. If you listen to Chael's narrative, he makes you believe that Moicano can win. I love you. I don't believe he has a shot in winning, but if he could just get to the 7.5 minute mark, minus 105, I will take that all day and twice on Sunday.
Well, Chael, you like Moicano to win at plus 650, but he's saying that the fight could go a little bit longer. What kind of just mentality, mindset do you think these guys? Will there be a feeling out process because they weren't expecting
I
to
hope
see.
so.
Moicano is going for a finish, and that finish is a submission, and it's by guillotine. Now, whether he can find it or not, but that is what he's going to look for, and he's going to look for it early while he's still got his energy. He's going to go out and trade, hoping that Islam shoots and hoping he can find it. Now, there's a lot of hope there, and hope is not the world's best strategy in sport, but Islam, all the credit we're giving Moicano in this great, what a bunch of courage that Moicano showed. Islam gets that same credit.
Yes.
He told Dana White, and I quote, "Brother, I will fight anybody." That is a badass move, by the way. Guys come out and for headlines and say, "I'll fight anybody." Very few guys get put in a position where they truly get called on it. Islam was tested, and he passed the test for his third time, I might add.
Well, it's just a wild thing to see these types of opportunities. And it's like, I would like to say we never see this happen, but we do. We do see this happen. We do see fights get moved around at the last second. Here, it's for a world title, Islam Makhachev, Hinata Moicano. Let's move to the 135-pound division. Umar Nurmagomedov trying to stay perfect against Merab Dvalishvili. We know the way Merab fights. It is with pace. It is with pressure. Umar, he has passed every eye test that you could possibly put in front of him, but this is a little bit of a different challenge. It's a 5-round fight. What do you think about this matchup, Chael?
Philosophical question, fellas. Which would you rather be? Would you rather be undefeated, or would you rather be the world champion? Because that's what we're seeing, and I think world champion trumps undefeated. I think 11 straight in the octagon trumps 6 straight. But we're seeing Nurmagomedov as a 6-1 favorite. While Nurmagomedov's won 18 straight fights, he lost 2 of his last 5 rounds in the Sandhagen fight. 2 rounds went for the opponent. I think that matters to make believe that a guy, now I'm on to Merab, who out-wrestled Henry, who out-wrestled everyone at the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
To make believe like Merab can't get on top of you a time or two. Come on, man. I don't know. And not to mention, I'm jumping around, but this is important. Your approach matters. Dvalishvili's job is to get the biggest paycheck for the easiest opponent. He's the one that demanded this opportunity. So I have to believe he thinks he can win.
Your thoughts?
That's a lot to take in. Well said. This is the worst matchup for Merab in the entire division. Although, to your point, I think Merab was getting tired of saying, I don't want to defend, I don't want to fight him. So it's like, all right, you know what? Give me Umar. Here's my issue for Merab. We know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to come forward, wrestle, cardio. But his chin is not good. Outside of the Sean O'Malley fight, he got dropped in every single fight and had to come back and win. If he gets dropped against Umar, I do not believe he could come back here. So there's an interesting prop that I saw. Nurmagomedov to win by knockout is plus 850 to plus 900. How do you not take a shot at that? I think Umar can defend takedowns. Merab may get something at some point, but he's got 5 rounds to touch that chin and put him out. Plus 900 it sits at now. I like that play. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on that prop.
Yeah, I got to ask you, as a fighter, when you hear Ian say that he's worried about his chin, but he said he was dropped, not finished. He did come back and win those fights.
Correct.
Do you agree with that, or you have any concerns about Merab's chin?
I always use history as the trajectory to the future, and I see the same thing. But one thing about that, and I admit that Umar is a little cleaner, a little bit more dynamic, you have a very hard time getting those beautiful kicks off. I know Sandhagen did. Just for example, when Merab is crowding somebody, Jose Aldo, one of the great strikers ever, they have a hard time getting going. And no, Merab isn't this flashy. He's 1s and 2s, but he's throwing a lot of them. He's going and he's going forward. There's no space for kicks. I believe Umar's most obvious dynamic approach and advantage is with his kicks. I just don't think he's going to have the space to throw them.
Yeah. Well, one of our friends in the UFC's lightweight division, Michael Chandler, says, not here for a long time, but a good time. That refers to Chael Sonnen on this show. He is gone. We're getting him out of here. We're going to talk about the rest of these.
I had another prediction, though. The best bet of the main card is your feature man at 205, and simply bet it to not go the distance. Thank you, and I'm out.
Jamal Hill and Yuri Prochazka not going the distance. Chael's going to moonwalk himself off of this set as we move to Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill. Chael's best bet is that it will not go the distance. What do you think about this matchup, Ian?
At minus 2,000, I don't hate Chael's bet right there. Now, listen, I like Jamal Hill in this fight. For me, you're talking about someone who's going to be the cleaner striker. Yuri keeps his hands very, very low. If we get the Jamal that beat Glover Teixeira, the Jamal that was the champ, it's hard for me to see him losing this fight. Yuri is awkward, but Rakic was touching him up, and then he started gassing out. I've heard nothing about good things about Jamal. He was on weight the night before. Granted, We know he saw him at like 258, like whatever it was. I think Jamal Hill bounces back and gets a huge win over Yuri in this one.
Interesting, man. I feel like the narrative online has all been Yuri. Yuri's going to prove to be too much. Yuri's got too much experience. But Hill, I'm a little surprised, is the favorite, and we are going with Hill at minus 125.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the middleweight division. It is one of the, if not the most active fighters on the roster. Kevin Holland taking on RDR is what they call him. You think about a Dutch man coming in at 170 pounds. You think kickboxer. No, this guy's got some wrestling and some jiu-jitsu. Is that going to get it done against Kevin Holland?
You know what? Listen, we always know with Kevin Holland against wrestlers, that's his Achilles heel, it's his kryptonite. But De Ridder's not really a good wrestler. I did not think he looked great against Gerald Meerschaert. I know he got that late sub. I don't think Holland should be the underdog here. I don't think he should be a huge favorite. But if this fight stays on the feet, Holland could knock him out. I'm taking Holland at plus 105 here. This fight starts on the feet. De Ridder's not creative with his entries on his takedowns. As long as Holland doesn't play cutesy from bottom and think he could do what he did to Jacare and try to stand back up if he gets taken down, I think on the feet there's a huge difference here. Give me Holland. I even think he may knock him out.
Okay, so we got 4 picks from Ian so far on this main card. We've got a best bet from Chael, which was minus 2,000. This is going to go the complete other way. This is the long shot parlay. This is going to have a plus number around it, and it is our boosted parlay as well on the ESPN Bet app. Must be 21 or older to take advantage of this one, and you should, because it is boosted. And what are we doing with it?
So I'm going to go with Kevin Holland to win by knockout, TKO, or hey, DQ, why not? Give me over 1.5 rounds in Yuri Jamal Hill. Doesn't mean it can't not go the distance. I do think there's going to be a little bit of a feeling out period. Both guys are pretty durable for the most part. And last but not least, Umar to win by points. Look, I do think it's going to be a competitive fight, but that plus 900 for that knockout, I still would do a sprinkle, but I do love this parlay at plus 950 as well with the boost.
Yeah, and I do love those odds, going from about 8-1 to almost 10-1 there. If you're using the ESPN Bet app, you gotta love that that boosted parlay. Okay, so we got the boosted parlay out of the way, the long shot. How about your premium play? It's your favorite play on the UFC 311 card, prelims, main card. Where are we going with this one?
Grant Dawson to win in over 1.5 rounds. Look, Diego Ferreira is experienced. He is getting up to age 40, but he's proven in his last couple of fights. You could drop him, but unless you kill him, you're not getting rid of him. And Dawson, we know that once he gets the fight to the floor, he's an absolute beast. I am relying on Diego Ferreira's durability, his experience here to not get finished. I think if Dawson does finish it, it'd be end of round 2, early round 3. Dawson looked fantastic in that last fight. I do think this is a step up from Rafa Garcia. So let's go Dawson. And look at that. We go from minus 245 to minus 109. I've been falling in love with these plays, putting these two together. We're almost cutting those odds all the way down. That's my Parker's premium play.
Okay, so we've thrown a lot of information at you right off the bat. Let's recap it all here. This is the new look here for the show, UFC Best Bets in 2025. We're only giving you the best of the best, and Ian, I'll let you recap them for us now.
You got it. So 5-unit Parker premium play, and we hit that last card. Dawson to win over 1.5. My 3-unit play, Islam Makhachev to win it over 1.5. Hanata Moicano, please survive 7.5. That's all I need out of you. I am going Jamal Hill here. I just think he's the better fighter, more technical. Yuri's hands too low, chin too high. Give me Kevin Holland at plus odds. My 4th best bet, this one, we're going from a minus 1,100 in Peyton Talbot to win and over 1.5 rounds, only to minus 125 for 1 unit, and Parker's long shot prop at a 1/4 unit. Umar to win by KO, TKO, or DQ, and then, of course, my long shot parlay at 24/7.
You're feeling
Jesus,
frisky.
it's just all over the place. This is crazy. We're going nuts. Big card, big plays. Let's go.
We weren't doing this in 2024, but take a look at the units because that shows his degree of confidence on each of these. 5 units there for his premium play, which he just gave you, which is Grant Dawson and the over. So what do we got left? We got a Parker's parlay as well to throw at you in addition to everything we just gave you. Where are we going for the Parker's parlay?
I feel like it's not as exciting when we do such big odds on the boost and then we come straight down. We're going to go with Jailton Almeida over Spivak. Quite chalky. Look, if you want to get cute with it, you can go by sub for better odds, but look, minus 525. I really think Umar gets it done. I'm throwing him in the parlay. Give me Bernardo Sopaj over Ricky Tercio. Love the kid on the Contender Series. I know he lost to Loke Dog, but I'm not a big fan of Tercio in regards to really anything defense-wise. Soposh is good, plus 124. Let's get on the win board for Parker's parlay this week.
All right, so there are all your parlays, but we do love the props. We did so well on them in 2024. You got a prop for us at 311 as well.
I do. This one, I'm shocked the odds are as low as they are. Give me Carol Hossa to win by decision over Eileen Perez. We know what Perez is going to do. She's going to try and take down and wrestle, but Hossa has beaten such better level competition, and she's fought better grapplers, better strikers. She's also very physically strong, good in the clinch, very, very smart, high IQ to win by decision at minus 155. Let's go 2 weeks in a row. We hit that prop last week.
Well, I got to tell you, thoughts go out to Arman Zarouki and obviously getting the injury and not being able to fight for a championship. But this is kind of a fitting way to start the year because this is a wild sport, and we never know what's going to happen. And here for the main event, you got Renato Money Moicano, who's become a fan favorite over the last few years, stepping in for a world championship opportunity against Islam Makhachev. It's also very fitting, I think, that it's happening in the state of California, who, of course, our hearts go out to everyone who has been impacted by the wildfires here in the Los Angeles area. Of course, all the first responders who've been doing such a terrific job here in the southern part of the state. You can go to the Red Cross and you can help people affected by those wildfires, in 2025. Your donation enables the Red Cross to prepare for, respond to, and help all those recover from these disasters. It was a fun show. It's going to be a fun night. Inside the Intuit Dome in Inglewood, California. Very much looking forward to it. Hopefully we made you smarter. Hopefully we can make you a little bit richer and come back and see us next week. UFC, or actually, do we have a week off? Week off next week?
I hope not.
I think no. One week off, and then we finish the month back in UFC Fight Night. But until then, so we will not see you next week. We'll see you at the end of the month, and enjoy UFC 311 on Saturday.